Alright, that's enough of that. Hello guys, here, Offclimb Tower here from the Heart and Horror Files crew, and we are reading Abandoned by Disney. Man! Everybody should know this creepypasta. At least everyone should know Mogwai's Palace. Is that how you say that? Mogwai? Sounds like something from that one movie. Anyway, without further ado, let's get down to the story. Some of you may have heard that the Disney Corporation was responsible for at least one real, live ghost town. Disney built the Treasure Island, quotes, Treasure Island resort in Baker's Bay in the Bahamas. It didn't start as a ghost town. Disney's cruise ships would actually stop at the resort and have to leave tourists there to relax in luxury. Maybe. This is a fact. Look at it up. Really, I'll give you like 5 seconds to look at it right now. 5 seconds is up. Disney blew $30 million on the place. Yes, $30 million. Then they abandoned it. No one ever. Killjoy computer, Killjoy. Oh, that's lovely. That was done? Okay. Sorry, guys. Oh my god, I'm sure I'll get kicked out of that. Then they abandoned it. Disney blamed the shallow waters, too shallow for their ships to safely operate. Ooh, sure. And there was even blame cast on the workers, saying that since they were from the Bahamas, they were too lazy to work on a regular schedule. That's terrible. That's what the factual nature of their story is. It wasn't because of sand. It obviously wasn't because foreigners are lazy. Both are convenient excuses. No, I sincerely doubt those reasons were legitimate. Why don't I buy the official story? Because of Mogwai's Palace. Near the beachside city of Emerald Isle in North Carolina, Disney began construction of Mogwai's Palace in the late 1990s. The concept of a jungle-themed resort with a large, you guessed it, palace in the center of the whole thing. Stupid, slow computer. No, don't go down too large. No. If you're unfamiliar with the character Mogwai, then you might better remember the story The Jungle Book. That was a good movie. Or the book too. Really good book. If you haven't seen it anywhere else, you know it as the Disney cartoon from decades past. Maybe. Mogwai is an abandoned child in the jungle, essentially raised by animals and simultaneously threatened and pursued by other animals. Mogwai's Palace was a controversial undertaking from the start. Disney bought up a ton of high-priced land for the project, and there was actually a scandal surrounding some of the purchases. The local government claimed eminent domain on people's homes. They turned around and sold property to Disney. At one point, the home had just been constructed. It was immediately condemned with little to no explanation. The land grabbed by the government was supposedly for some fictional highway project, knowing full well that was going on. People started calling it Mickey Mouse Highway. Sure they did. Then there was a concept art, a group of stuffed shirts, normally, from Disney Co. Yeah, Corporation. Look it up. Actually held a city meeting. They intended to sell everyone on how lucrative this project was going to be for everyone when they showed the concept art. This giant Indian palace surrounded by jungle, staffed with men and women in loincloths and tribal gear. Well, suffice to say, everyone flipped their shit. It's everywhere. It's all like monkeys. We're talking about a large Indian palace, jungle, and loincloths, not only in the center of a relatively wealthy area, but also a somewhat xenophobic area of the southern USA. It was a questionable mix at that point in history. Lots of bugs. One member of the crowd tried to storm the stage, but he was quickly subdued by a security officer after he managed to break one of the presentation boards over his knee. Disney took that community and essentially broke it over its knee as well. The houses were razed, the land was cleared, and there wasn't a damn thing anyone could do to say about it. Local TV and newspapers were against the resort at the beginning, but some insane connection between Disney's media holdings and the local venues came into place, and their opinions turned on a dime. So anyway, Treasure Island, the Bahamas, Disney sunk those millions in, and split the same thing happened with Mogwai's Palace. Construction was complete, visitors actually stayed at the resort, the surrounding communities were flooded with traffic and the usual annoyances associated with an influx of lost and irate tourists. Then it all just stopped. Disney shut it down and nobody knew what the hell to think. But they were pretty happy about it. Disney's loss was pretty hilarious and wonderful to a large group of folks who didn't want this in the first place. I honestly didn't give this place another thought since hearing it closed over a decade ago. I lived maybe 4 hours from Emerald Isle, so really I only heard the rumblings and didn't experience any of it firsthand. Then I read this article from someone who had explored the Treasure Island resort and posted a whole blog about all the crazy shit he found. Stuff just left behind. Things smashed, face, probably ruined by the disgruntled former employees who had lost their jobs. Now the locals from all around probably had a hand in wrecking that place. People there felt just as angry about the Treasure Island as folks here did about Mogwai's Palace. Plus, there were rumors that Disney had released their aquarium stock into the local waters when they closed, including sharks. Who wouldn't want to take a few swings at some merchandise out of that? Well, what I'm getting at is that this blog about Treasure Island got me thinking. Even though many years had passed since its closing, I figured it might be cool to do some urban exploration at Mogwai's Palace. Take some photos, write about my experience, probably see if there's anything I could take home as a memento. Maybe. I'm not going to say I wasted no time in getting there, because honestly it took me another year after I first found that Treasure Island article to get around to going up to Emerald Isle. Over the course of that year, I did a lot of research on the Palace Resort place. Or rather, I tried to. Naturally, no official Disney site or resource made any mention of that place. That had been scrubbed clean, of course. Even odder, however, was that nobody before myself had apparently thought to blog about the place or even post of photos. None of the local TV and newspaper sites had one word about the place, though that was to be expected since they had all sworn Disney's way. They wouldn't be out there lauding their embarrassment, you know. Recently, I learned that corporations actually asked Google, for example, to remove links from search results, basically for no good reason. Looking back, it's probably not that nobody spoke at the resort, but rather their words were made inaccessible. So in the end, I could barely find the place. All I had to do was go with an old as hell map. All I had to go on was an old as hell map I'd received in the mail back in the 90s. It was a promotional item sent out to people who had recently been to Disney World, and I guess since I had been in the early 80s, that was recent. I didn't really intend to hang on to it. It just got shoved in with my books and comics from my childhood. I don't even remember it months into my research. And even then, it took me a few weeks to locate the storage bin my parents had shoved it all into. So you get your parents to do it. But I did find it. Locals were no help, as most were transplants who had moved to the beach in recent years, or old residents who just sneered at me and made rude gestures. The second I managed to say, where would I find Mogwai's Drive, took me to an inordinately long corridor of overgrowth, tropical plants that had run rampant and overpopulated the area, mixed with the native species of flora that actually belonged there and had tried to reclaim the land. Had tried. Those plants can't reclaim that land. They're silly. The drive took me through wow. I was in awe when I reached the front gates of the resort. Tremendous monolithic wooden gates whose supports to either side looked like they must have been cut from giant sequoias. The gate itself had been gouged in several places by woodpeckers and eaten away at the base by birds. Hanging on the gate was a sheet of metal, some random scrap with hand-painted letters scrawled in black, abandoned by Disney. Clearly the handiwork of some past local or an employee who wanted to make some small protest. Yes, protest on nothing that's not there. Yeah, because that's what they do. That is what they do. They protest on stuff that's not there. Okay. The inner grounds of the place were just... did I already read that one? The gates were open enough to walk through but not drive, so grab my digital camera and the map, whose flip side showed a layout of the resort. I set off on foot. The inner grounds of the palace were just overgrown as the entryway. Palm trees stood untended and ragged among piles of their own coconuts. Banana plants primarily stood in their own stinking, bud-riddled refuse. There was this sort of clash between order and chaos as carefully planted rows of perennial flowers mixed with obnoxious tar weeds and stinking blackened mushrooms. The only remain of any outdoor structures were broken rotting wood and various charred bits of unidentifiable material. Was most likely an information booth or an outdoor bar, was now simply a pile of assorted debris, chopped up by past vandalism and ravaged by ooh, sounds delicious. Enough of that accent. The most interesting thing on the ground was a statue of Baloo. Why is it on the ground? Racist against bears? They're racist against bears. The friendly bear from the Jungle Book, which stood in the sort of courtyard in front of the main building. He was frozen in a jovial wave toward no one, staring into empty space with a silly toothy grin as bird shit covered whole swaths of his fur. That's disgusting. And lined and snared his platform. Man, that's gross. Oh man. Yep. Oh, there I am. I approached the main building, the palace, only to find the outside of the building covered in graffiti, where the original paint hadn't peeled and chipped away. The front doors were just open. They had been taken out. Why am I doing the accent? I could do a Jerobi accent too, but I'm not going to. Well, the front doors or the... Oh my God, sorry. Well, the front doors of the gaping wall where they had been, someone had once again painted abandoned by Disney. Well, because they love doing that crap. They always do that crap, because they love doing that crap. Something like that. Keep going out. I wish I could tell you about all the awesome stuff I saw inside the palace. Forgotten statues, abandoned cash registers, a full-fledged secret society of homeless bones. But no, inside the building was so stark, so bare that I actually think people had stolen the molding off the wall. Anything that was too big to steal, counters, desks, giant fake trees, they were all resting amid this empty echo clambered and amplified my every step like a slow rat-a-tat of a machine gun. Rat-a-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. I checked the floor plan and headed off. All the locations that might seem in any way interesting. The kitchen was, as you'd imagine, an industrial food prep area with all the appliances and space. No expenses spared. Every glass surface was broken. Every door knocked off its hinges. Every metal surface kicked and dented. The entire place smelled like very old piss. Sorry. It did. He's not sorry. He's not. The huge freezer, not even remotely cool now, had row upon row of empty shell space. Hooks hung from the ceiling. Like an old monster flick. Probably for hanging cuts of meat. And as I stood there inside for a moment, I noticed they were swinging. Oh God. Oh my. Sorry. Each hook swung in a random direction, but their movements were so slow and small, it was almost impossible to see. I figured I had to cause my footsteps, so I stopped. One from swinging by clutching in my fist. Then, carefully letting go within seconds, I started swinging one forward. Come on. The bathrooms were in such the same state as the rest of us, just like a treasure island resort. Someone had methodically smashed each porcelain commode with coconuts and other implements. There was about a half an inch of rancid, stinking, stagnant water on the that's gross. So I didn't say it very long. What's odd is that the toilets and the sinks and the beds in the ladies' room, yes, I went there. All the drips leaked or just ran freely. It seemed to me that they should have shut the water off long ago. There were plenty of rooms in the resort, but naturally I didn't have time to look through them all. The few I did peer into were primarily wrecked, and didn't expect to find anything there. I thought there was actually a television, a radio in one room. I really think I heard a quiet conversation though it was like a whisper, probably my own breathing echoing in the silence, or just in that case of the sound of flowing water playing tricks on my mind. This is what it sounded like. I didn't believe it. Short, unknown reply. I didn't know that your father told you. Unknown reply. I'm probably just weeping. I know, that sounds ridiculous. I'm just telling you what I experienced. Well, I thought there might have been some running in that room. Or worse, some vagrants who would hold up there and probably would have knifed him. Oh, like Call of Duty. Right? At the front door of the palace, and I figured I had